So I'm just going to show how I get my lawnmower ready for spring. Just kind of clean it up, change the blade, change the spark plug, change the filter. I've got kind of a two-piece mower. Might be a little bit bigger than what you have, but you should be pretty similar. When you're just like I said, the oil is might be a little bit different. It might be a little bit larger, so it might be a little bit easier to get to. Sometimes you have to pour them out. Just check with your manual. I'll put some links down in the description about some of the tools I used or anything that may be helpful. It's always good to start off with a visual inspection. Just make sure you kind of know where everything is. Just take a look at the gas. If it's been, here's the oil. Just check the gas. If it's been sitting over winter and it didn't have a stabilizer in it, you might want to think about dumping it out and replacing it. This is pretty new, so I don't need to do that. So I'm planning on changing the oil, changing the air filter, cleaning it off, and the spark plug. And it really depends on your mower. Mine, I have to take off some pieces. Like you might have a little smaller, less complicated mower where you can just get right access to it, everything. But again, like I said, I have to take this off. So just figure out how to get the easiest clearance. Obviously, you want to make sure that the mower's not on during this part. So I'm going to, that's the spark plug there. So I'm just going to disconnect it just to make sure, again, it's not going to run accidentally where I'm not expecting it. And also I need to take that out and replace it. So you're going to need a spark plug socket if you don't have one. It has a rubber piece in there. It kind of holds on, gives it a little better clearance. You normally need an extension to get in, but it really depends where it is. And just be gentle. Make sure you're unscrewing it. You're not tightening it or anything, trying to force it out. It should come out pretty easy. You don't want to strip the threads there. So once you get it out, just take it out, and then you're going to need to replace it either with the same model if you can find it, or one that's compatible. This one was, I think it's like Torch or something, which I believe is a Chinese model or something I got on Amazon. It works fine, but I needed it today, so I went and found, looked up and found the replacements, and I found this NGK, which is the same. You can usually visually kind of see what it is, but there's also usually like a 5 or a 6. It depends on the quote-unquote hotness of it. So, but as I matched it up and I got the right one, normally you don't have to change the gap on it. For a lawnmower, car's a little more picky. For this, it's usually right out of the bag or box. It's okay. So I got the replacement one. Again, put it back in here, and it's it's simple as that. Just as long as you got the right replacement, put it in. I like to start it off by hand again, so I don't strip it. So I'm not using the ratchet right away and putting a lot of torque because sometimes it's hard to get the right angle here. You can see I'm kind of struggling a little with the angle, but I want to do it slowly. Just get it threaded in before I start putting too much torque on it. And then some, and I used to like to use the old one and kind of score the inside a little bit of the spark plug, where it connects, just to make sure I got a good connection there. But I'm not going to be plugging it back in yet because I'm still working on it. And next is the air filter. You can see this is pretty dirty. This is actually a pre-filter on the outside, just kind of like this foam. And then I noticed the inside was really clean. I believe I replaced this actually over winter time, so that's probably why it was clean. I'm trying to remember. But you should want to get out. You might have just a single filter. This one is a 2-stage. Like I said, just this foam kind of pre-filter thing. This one's really dirty, but the inside, like I said, it was bright yellow. I'll just dust it off. I'm like, this doesn't need to be replaced, but this outside really needs to be cleaned off. I think so. I just use some compressed air. That's the easiest way. Really, the only way if you're going to actually be cleaning things like this is to use some. If you have a compressor or some other way of just blowing it off like this, and really getting in there, make sure the engine can breathe. So you can see that pre-filter foam is a lot dirtier. So this one, again, just air compressor, just clean off the one side of it. Make sure it's as clean as I can get it. And then I'm going to flip it over and just clean it from the inside just to make sure that I'm getting, really blowing it out. So that because it's all about the engine being able to breathe, avoid getting any dust in there, messing up the carburetor, messing up the fuel, anything like that. You really just want the engine to be clean, but also can breathe. And then once that's done, it's not really that difficult. Just put it back or reassemble it. I'm going to set that aside because I'm going to then work on the oil next. And so there's normally, again, depends on the complexity of your lawnmower. This one has an external port with just a single screw. So you just use a nut on it and take it out, and the oil comes out that way. Some I've seen there's like a little plug. Other ones, I don't think I've seen it where it actually comes out where you put it in, but just check your manual. And then also in the manual it says which cycle or what type of oil you want to put in there. I'm just using this for summer right now. So that's what I got. Make sure you have some towels because you're probably going to make a mess. I know I did. Not too bad, but so then, like I said, this one is just takes a single screw, and I've already got the holder ready, or the container for where the oil is going to be dispensed into. I'm kind of tilting it up so it doesn't spill out as I tip it. You can see it's really not much to this. Just tip it out, and you're going to drain it. Sometimes it helps just to go do something else because it takes a while to slowly drain. Sometimes you can take the cap off the top and get the, so there's an airlock in there, but it's pretty simple. I'm just trying to get everything out. And then you want to make sure you have the right amount. So I'd already checked that in the manual. So that container that I had was the single, I think it's like 12 ounces or so, just to refill it. So once it's done, obviously close it back up. I'm going to pull the dipstick out because that's where it goes in. To make sure, again, you don't want to get any dirt on this. And then just fill it up. Try not to make a mess. I'm spilling it a little bit. I try to I poured it in a little bit too quickly, and again, it almost overflows. I had to stop and start, but generally it's, just put your new oil in there, and then after you're done, you make sure it's all in there. Just kind of clean up around the edges and not making a mess. You don't want grass sticking to it or anything like that. And then I'm just close it off. I think I want to check the dipstick real quick just to make sure, double check the level. I mean, it hasn't all settled in there, but just get a good idea. Like, okay, yep, it's where I want to. And I put just double check. I put the right amount in there. And then I'm done here. So I'm going to put the air filter back on there. So that's the last. So I've got the spark plug change, the oil change, and the air filter. So now I should be able to start it up and see how it goes. But I got to plug the spark plug connector back on to the top so that it can actually make an electrical connection. Double check the oil or the gas here. Make sure, yep, I got enough gas in here. It's correct. I had to adjust the choke, and this air filter has a little setting for the temperature. And so go ahead and prime it, and then try to start it up. You can tell I'm getting a little annoyed here. I'm tried over and over again to start it, thinking I did something wrong. End up priming it too much. I'm trying to rush, trying to get to dinner, and I flooded the engine. So I was gonna mess around with the spark plug a little bit, and then I took a break, and then I realized I forgot this thing has a setting on it, a safety feature, so that it won't actually start unless it's attached to an attachment like this lawnmower. So after that, got it working. Then I'm just testing out, make sure everything's working on it exactly. The wheels work. When I engage it to the lawnmower, that works. Just make sure the basic features, and then disconnect it. And I should have cleaned this out last fall. I don't know why, I forgot or something. So I'm gonna have to clean it out here. Again, just make sure that it's not going to start, so either disconnect from the spark plug, or this is a separate attachment so I can pull it off. So just scraping all of this off with a plastic scraper, just trying to get any of that old caked on grass there. Just since the beginning of the season, might as well clean it up, make sure it's going to be working for the rest of the season. You can do this throughout the season too, but definitely at the beginning. The blades had some chips on them, or kind of dents, so I just got the grinder out and kind of sharpened them up a little bit. I'm not trying to make them really sharp because they're not supposed to be razor sharp or anything like that. I just want to get out any of those dents just so I can have a nice clean blade. And so it's both sides of the blade. You can do this with a file. So I have 2 blades, 2 sides to do it on each side. So I just went with the grinder. I kind of had it out available. And I'm not trying to cut off any metal, strip it out, make it really sharp, just setting it up a little bit, so it's not just some dull blade trying to smash through the grass here. And then the last piece, so I went back. I probably should have done this before sharpened the blades, but they're not really sharp. But I still have a glove on here, just using a brush and getting the rest of this caked on grass out of here. I just want to make sure it's as clean as I can get it before the season, because I'll probably forget to clean it up. So it's good to kind of get it all out of the nooks and crannies and everything. It's also kind of therapeutic, just getting it all clean like this. And then once I got it out of the bottom, then the deck, I'm just kind of trying to clean it off a little bit as much as I can. Again, this looks like it's a paint start chipping there. I should probably be painting this. Maybe I'll do it next season. That'll probably be another video here, just kind of priming it and getting the paint ready. So this is a little more complicated than a regular lawnmower, just because it has a clutch and it's got multiple blades. So I'm going to just take a look at the pulleys and the the belts and everything, just to make sure it's all in good shape. So I have to take off this cover on this. Again, you may not need to do this if you're just doing a standard lawnmower, but it's good to kind of just check the functionality of everything. You know, you might have some drive wheels, they may have some pulleys or belts, so just kind of check anything you can. This thing was a big mess in there, so I'm glad I took it off. I don't know if, I mean, it's probably just going to get like this again, but I have the air compressor out, so I might as well just clean it off. Again, just making sure everything's going to be working. There was a lot of dry grass in here. Again, it's sort of therapeutic, just cleaning this off, making it look almost new. So I'm just going to be, again, pulling it off and then taking a look. There's several different belts, several different pulleys. I think I used a little bit of WD-40 on it, but just to make sure they're working. But I'm just checking checking it's working. Again, it's not attached, so there's no chance that my finger is going to get stuck in here. Just looking at the belts, making sure they're not dry rotted, they're all working. This one has a clutch, like I said, that engages, so the engine can run before that clutch is actually working. So that's what I'm just checking here. Just make sure once the clutch pushes the other belt into it, that the actual blades start rotating. And then connect it to the engine and just try it out, just to make sure. Just be very careful. Obviously, blades spinning, a lot of things moving here, so I'm on the other side and I'm not going to be anywhere near it while it's running. But it seems like it's all working. Just get some nice engine noise here. You see it's kind of puffing, kind of shaking a little bit. I actually had the choke incorrectly, so I fixed that. And then it seems like it's running well now. So, yeah, much better. Now everything seems to be running correctly. Everything's set, so I think it should be good to run for the rest of the season here.